Hello viewers. Well, it's time for my weekly blog on the channel. Obviously, while it's been quiet over these summer months, this is an opportunity for me to bring you up to date with everything that's been happening. So we have been a bit behind on some of the coverage for The Crew. It was recorded all a couple of weeks ago. That will be up on the channel in the next few days as we lead up to Gamescom. And of course, this week we had the trailer revealed, or a few days ago, for F1 2014 as well, hotly anticipated by everybody, with the news that it would be for the current generation systems rather than next generation systems. I know there's always talk with everybody about what current gen and next gen is, but it's a crossover period right now where a lot of the current graphics systems are moving to the new generation of graphics systems, and it takes time to cross that over. Now, that's a lot to do with sort of the memory association and how they do that. So we don't just want better graphics, we want better gameplay, we want better physics, we want better crash models. It's a big fundamental change in the way all of it works and how it balances out on the new system to get performance in every area, and that takes time. So obviously there's a crossover period now where developers are struggling to bring out games this year and bringing them out next year as well. F1 is a big franchise, you know, there's a lot that goes into it, and so far I think Codemasters have done a very good job in finding that fine line. But for me, F1 2013 brought it together, and I've no doubt F1 2014 will be very similar to F1 2013, a little bit more polish here and there, perhaps pushing the abilities of the systems a bit more in a similar way to what they did with Grid Autosport. Looking forward to it. So far the visuals seem nice for the PS3 and Xbox 360 and PC. No doubt it will run really well. I'm looking forward to testing it on the triple screens. It was raised that the livery on the Williams didn't include the Martini logo. There is apparently, I don't know the ins and outs myself, but there is apparently restrictions on alcohol advertising, and they wanted to use the word racing perhaps with the red stripe. That's been removed as well. I find that very sad, that a sport that's broadcast to 1 billion people on TV every Sunday afternoon, every couple of weeks, can't include one of the sponsor logos, and yet you can play games where you can get guns and shoot people. It just seems to me that the priorities are a little bit messed up in terms of the way the rating systems are being handled and the way people think games influence people. Certainly interesting. I think that's something that the industry probably could do a better debate on, because it certainly seems to me to be almost overkill in some areas. You know, I don't think we're all going to go straight out after playing F1 2014 and buy a bottle of Martini. You know, it really depends on who you are, perhaps. I mean, I'm sure some people might. You never know. But either way, I'm looking forward to it, testing the new physics model. Obviously, it'll be somewhat limited compared to the potential, but I'll be looking forward to testing that. On to F1 2015, and of course it's going to release earlier in the year. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean that we're going to be receiving a regular DLC pack, so you get one track with the cars and they'll upgrade throughout the year, perhaps, something like that, some kind of season pass perhaps? I don't know, the jury's out at the moment. Suffice to say, it's very difficult converting a game directly from PS3 and Xbox 360 directly to PS4 and Xbox One. There's a lot of additional features that need to go in there that change the way a game is made, and that's why you couldn't just take something like Dirt 3 and make it into Hyper Dirt 3 and release it on the new consoles. So F1 2015, I think, is going to be the one everybody's excited about. Rumours are we'll see perhaps a trailer for that after the release of 2014. And that'll be something very exciting, but you just never know. It's not like you can see much. They'll have to use the 2014 cars to show off the 2015 graphic system. Obviously, we haven't seen the cars yet. Another omission has been the omission of the classic Grand Prix cars, something I enjoyed a great deal. Many of you will know I play them a lot. I don't know really whether I put out enough videos. I mean, I don't put up as many gameplay videos because I play the same cars all the time, and I thought people would get bored. But next year, classic Grand Prix cars, I hope, return. I'm guessing we might finally see that Senna license there. It would be nice, but we'll have to wait and see. The jury's out on that. I really don't know. What I do know is that apparently I've been told that F1 2014 will not be shown at Gamescom next week. That's where it is right now. we won't be shown F1 2014 next week at Gamescom. That's come as a big surprise. 8 weeks to launch, hardly any footage of the game, no preview, and not at Gamescom. There's also no footage or no talk about WRC this year as well, so we've no idea if that's going to be at Gamescom next week. And there's no talk about the new Dirt game. That's been 3 years later. Apparently it's been in development all of this time. No talk on Dirt. Now, this late into the day, you'd have to say, well, it's not going to come out on 360 and PS3. It's got to come out on the PS4 and Xbox One. What does that mean? Well, maybe there's a connection there. Maybe Codemasters have finally got their hands on the WRC license. It'd be interesting. We just don't know. We might find that it's announced by Milestone next week, but it is quite late. All these announcements are happening this year. I'm going to Gamescom next week, and I really don't have a clue what we're going to be seeing there. Obviously, there's going to be Drive Club. We'll try to get near that if we can. Forza Horizon 2. Turn 10 and Playground Games guys. I mean, I've written to Microsoft. I've tried to get access, and they're apparently going to give us no access to it this year. I will ask again, but I don't know why they're being. They just don't want to let us see the game at the moment, and that's it's disappointing. And again, it's just one of those things where you think, is there something they just don't want us to see at this stage? But either way, I will keep pushing to get the content that you guys want to see on these games and get some more feedback on them as well. I think Drive Club is one that really does need a bit more feedback, because we saw at E3 it looks loads better than it did last year. Last year it was very underwhelming, but how does it really play? And that's for me the crux of whether you're going to buy it, you're going to enjoy it, and you're going to keep playing it. Another game being shown at Gamescom next week is going to be Project Cars. I don't know if it's going to be on the show floor or behind closed doors at the moment, but there's an upgraded version that we should expect to see that. Either way, we will have some Project Cars coverage on the PS4 later in the month. We're nearing release. They've announced some of the official names of the racetracks as well. As expected, the licenses will start being announced, and it's a great selection that they're going to have on there. So Project Cars is shaping up very nicely to be a very big game. So Gamescom next week, there's going to be no more footage on the crew. Apparently there's nothing new there other than the beta that we've seen already. There will be a second beta for the end of August, which is being announced today, which apparently it's already been released news has been released by Ubisoft in Canada. We've gone live with that. So 25th to the 29th of August for the new beta on the crew. That'll be handy. We'll be busy during a couple of those days, but certainly I'll do my best to cover that and fit it in as well. Crew's looking nice, good fun. There are a few issues with it visually, and of course I haven't managed to test it with the triple screen because the SLI was disabled before, so we'll look forward to seeing how that progresses. So Gamescom next week, we're going along open mind. I'll film the show, I'll walk the floors, I'll speak to as many racing developers as I can, get a mic in front of them, get some video footage for you guys. If there's anything in particular you want to see, do let me know. And as ever, do post on the forum on the site, because that's really what supports us in what we do, is you guys posting on the website and interacting with us on the website. And to that end, I won't be replying to many comments now on YouTube anymore. It's not going to be where I reply. Generally, that will be on the website now. There's so many videos, there's so many comments every day. It helps for me all to have it on the site now, and that's going to be where I'm based most of the time. And it supports what we do in terms of our sponsors and what we're aiming to take VVV and VVV coverage to, which takes me to the trailer, which was released a few days ago. I put together a trailer, just a cross-section of what I've been doing over the past few years. I mean, I've released over 1,000 videos, and today we're about to hit 30,000 subscribers as I read this. Interesting subscribers. I see people with 1 million views on YouTube and 100,000 subscribers. It's taken us 16 million views to get to 30,000 subscribers. And YouTube's a very strange place. None of the numbers ever make sense. But I've sort of stopped looking at all that now, because it was said to me, I should release shorter videos because people aren't, they fall off and stop watching. And then I just said to myself, well, who am I making the videos for? On the one hand, I like to produce coverage people enjoy, but I also like to make coverage that I enjoy. This to me is something I do for fun, primarily. And if I'm not enjoying what I do, then it's not worth doing it. And if I'm making 1-minute videos just to hit YouTube stats, or I'm changing my content, that's not what I want to do. I want to produce my content as individual to the audience that enjoy VVV, and I want to keep doing that. So I'm not going to focus on that so much, but keep producing content that's as unique as it can be of the gaming genre. And I think that's something over the past few years I've been working on, and I hope some of you enjoyed that trailer as well, a showcase on VVV. No comments on that trailer, no voting, no comments. I just wanted it to be what it is. That's what we've accomplished, whether people like it or not. And I'm going to keep working to build on that and develop it, and that's what I've been doing behind the scenes over the past few weeks. I'm working as hard on VVV now as I've ever worked on it. I'm working longer hours than I've ever worked on it, but I do want to take it to the next level. Now, this week I've been at the GT Academy. Again, lots of footage on the GT Academy coming in the next few days. Tons of filming there. Interviews with Sir Chris Hoy, Jan Mardenborough, Johnny Herbert, amongst others as well, and having a great tour of the GT Academy as it's grown. It really is huge now, and it's impressive to see how it's grown. And we need more car companies, I think, more opportunities for gamers to get in there and get in the mix. But certainly it's a good start, and I suppose in a way it backs a point we already know, is that the racing games and simulations are a tool. They're a tool for real racing drivers, but for gamers, when they turn up and they get in a car and a driver says, wow, how did this person do this lap time with nearly no track time? And you say, well, they have had track time. They've had virtual track time. They've done 10,000 hours in a simulator. It's not useless. It gives you an idea. But obviously you need to be physically fit and everything else. And I'm going to be hopefully running another video campaign where I'm out of shape at the moment. So I want to run a video campaign where I'm going to encourage people to get into shape. And prepare them for something like GT Academy if they want to do that. There's nothing worse than turning up and saying, I practiced the wrong course, I practiced the wrong car. You're not confident in front of the camera, you're not confident in front of the press, or physically you're going around 3 corners and you're feeling like jelly in the car. It's, you're just not used to it. You really need to do some karting and stuff like that. I find it helps because it really just gets the body working, gets all the muscles working, your body hardens up to it and everything, gets used to it, puts you physically and mentally in a better place. Everybody will train differently, but I will give you my feedback on that later in the year. So overall, it's been quite busy on the channel. We've also seen the LaFerrari is going to be coming soon to Assetto Corsa as well, which is always going to look nice. And of course, iRacing are going to be supporting the Blancpain at the Nürburgring, which is nice because they're supporting a European event. It's great to see on that. Besides, of course, the new grid pack and the new cars that have been announced for Forza Horizon, which will also include open wheel cars this year. Really nice variety of cars being announced for Forza Horizon 2. It's good to see. And it'd be great to see how those cars can explore and test the environments that they're based in the world. And it'll be interesting to see how big that world is. Certainly with detail, it'll be restricted in comparison to, say, the Crew. There's a lot we still haven't seen on the Crew yet, and I look forward to exploring more on that in the future. So it's been a busy couple of weeks, a lot going on behind the scenes. There's still a lot I want to do in terms of coverage, get up on the channel, but I'll continue working to grow it to what it can be in the future. Now, again, I will be coming back as well on the video producers. What are we really going to look for once the time comes? Well, we're going to be looking for large racing YouTubers who have established channels, who don't have a website. We're going to be talking to those guys to see what we can do, but also to those out there who produce YouTube videos and would like to get involved in VVV and producing content for the channel. Because obviously if I'm away, then obviously there's nothing on the channel, and that's kind of what's been happening recently. If I'm away at the GT Academy or covering an event, and it's impossible for me to keep regular videos up on the channel. So, and that needs a criteria of what people are going to cover, and do they even know how to cover their subject? And if they don't, then that's something which means they just simply cannot help. I mean, being able to produce a couple of racing videos is one thing. Knocking a quality video out the door every week of the year is another thing entirely. Knocking 3 to 10 out the door that I do starts to get quite back-breaking quite often. So just one video a week, I think, is good for people on their chosen racing game, but they really need to know their audience, and then look to see what we can do. And other than that, really come on the forum. We've got a couple of questions, actually. Q&A time. Let's take a look on the forum. And so we see a message here from Frank Bartoletta, and he's asking a couple of questions. Do you use ABS or traction control on any cars in Assetto Corsa? For example, if traction control is used by the cars in the real life counterpart. Generally, I don't use traction control as a rule. It's something I just like the body language of the car. I like to feel the car with the wheels spinning up. That gives me a good feeling of traction, of speed. It really depends on the car. It's not often I use traction control. ABS, on the other hand, depends. If I'm testing 3 or 4 different games in one day, ABS off in one car on one game can be very different to the same car in another game. So the brakes behave differently. It means you simply have to do more practice to get your laps in there, and ultimately visually they look the same anyway. So it's simply more room for error when making YouTube videos, and bearing in mind there's limited time for recording, it's not worth turning ABS off. However, I do ABS off videos from time to time if they're requested, but generally speaking you won't be able to tell the difference because I'm braking the same time anyway. I always brake as if traction control is ABS is turned off, and then just go with the flow from there. So I tend to brake with a brake marker towards the corner, then accelerate into the corner. Because of my style of driving is always very much about gently accelerating in, using the power to accelerate out, it means that I'm not braking towards the apex a lot of the time because I'm used to playing with traction control off, and a lot of these sims work well with that as well. So traction control, ABS, getting mixed up with traction control ABS with ABS off. So generally I have ABS on, but only there as a sort of a guideline, if you like, in case you mess it up, and then because then that prevents having to re-record a whole race again afterwards. Now the second question, does anybody on Team VVV have any information regarding a proper wheel G27 setup for Driver San Francisco? Well, I can tell you it's a long time since I've played Driver San Francisco, and I did all of my play on the Xbox 360 at the time with a controller, so I wouldn't have a clue. However, I don't know if Martin, our editor, will know. I'll speak to him and he can jump on there and add a few lines if he has played it on the PC, but I fear he's played it on the console as well. So that's it for that question this week, the only question we had this week. But as ever, I think it's important that the people that support us on the forum are the people that get their questions answered. And if you would like to ask a question about what we do here or any aspect, always feel free to pop that onto the forum. As I say, I won't be answering as many questions now, or hardly any now, on the actual YouTube videos. I'm going to put the time into the website and answering the questions there. But I hope you've enjoyed all what's been on the channel recently. I know it's been a bit quiet, and this little update as well. As I say, there is a lot on the way, going to be from Gamescom next week, and that's it from me for now. There'll be some more action of GT Academy and the crew very soon.